Well guys, just coming off of those leaks and reports about the next generation Nintendo system or the Nintendo Switch 2 from supposed accessory manufacturers, it seems like more and more Nintendo Switch 2 information is starting to slip through, and I mean this is pretty much going to happen now as we're getting closer to this system, because if it is really going to be coming out in early 2025, that means the reveal for the system is probably going to be closer than we think, and it's probably going to be just a few months away. I would say that by like the summertime, or especially like around fall time, we're really going to have an idea for what Nintendo is planning with this system, and we will probably have seen like a trailer for it by then and actually what that system is going to look like. And so as we're getting closer to it, more and more information is just going to start slipping out there, and today we've got some potential really technical information for exactly how this system is going to run. Now real quick before we get started, I just want to give a quick shout out to the sponsor of today's video, Urburo and Domo. This is a new company that's beginning to rise in popularity from their incredible chairs. I had the opportunity to check one of these out and I was very surprised. Coming from the old chair that I bought years ago, the difference was night and day. Assembly was quick, under an hour, and all the tools and everything were provided, along with easy to follow directions. The chair comes with height adjustment, reclining, as well as an adjustable headrest. The armrest can also be adjusted to have whatever size you like for when you want to rest your elbows and arms, and the bottom is made with extremely durable metal as well as really nice wheels for mobility. But of course the most important part about the chair is the sitting, and I haven't felt this comfortable in a chair in a very long time. There's some incredibly nice cushions on here that you can have to be able to sit in, as well as a really nice mesh back that you can have to be able to lay your back in and really have it recline very nicely if you want to lay back, but also have it just support your back really well when you're sitting and doing stuff for a very long time. I was able to stream Final Fantasy VII Rebirth for hours over on my Twitch this weekend as I finally finished the ending of that game, and it was really nice to be able to actually finish that stream and walk out not feeling sore compared to when I would stream for hours on my old chair. And so if you're looking for a comfortable chair to use for office or gaming or any other purpose really, definitely check out the chairs from Urburo and Domo from the link below in the description, and thank you so much again for sponsoring the video. Alright, but the information that we're going to talk about inside of this video is actually coming from a YouTuber known as Moore's Law is Dead. Now, if you don't know who this YouTuber is, this person I'm pretty sure covers a lot of tech stuff, and this is actually coming from a podcast that he recently had talking with people about the Nintendo Switch 2, but this person has actually given a lot of leaks and information about other tech related things. In fact, most recently, he gave a ton of information about the supposed PlayStation 5 Pro, which is supposed to be coming out this year at some point too. And the thing is, this person gave like a ton of detailed information about exactly what like the actual specs are going to be for the system, what some of the new features are going to be, and here's the craziest part. Sony actually took down his video. Like there's actually a copyright claim on it saying that it's information by Sony, which in a way basically kind of just indirectly confirms that his information was real and that Sony doesn't want that information out there, which I feel like Nintendo would never do that with the Switch 2. It would be kind of crazy if like a Switch 2 video just got taken down and it said like information by Nintendo, but I don't think that they would do that because it basically also just indirectly confirms that whatever that video was about is actually real, and of course that information is always going to be saved online. So I feel like it's better, like even if you have correct information like what they did with the Switch, when back in 2016 we basically had reports talking about how there was going to be detachable controllers and there was going to be a kickstand on the system and you're going to have like this tablet like thing. Like the reports were very accurate, but Nintendo didn't say anything about it and they still turned out to be true. Alright, but going into the information from Moore's Law, the first thing that it says right here is Nintendo Switch 2 testimonials from Nvidia. So I'm guessing this is a supposed Nvidia source, and the information just says, I'm not that close to the project, but I can say that Samsung 8nm is a perfect match for Nintendo. It's the lowest cost/transistor node on the market, and it's not expected to be as competitive for capacity as more modern nodes over the next few years. Also, remember that with the 128-bit LPDDR5, Nintendo could realistically choose 8GB, 12GB, or 16GB capacities for the SoC that we designed for them. So it seems like they're talking here kind of about like the Samsung 8nm, which also came out actually from like the other video that I made, that was like a report saying that Samsung was going to be heavily involved with the Switch 2, giving a lot of components, so maybe there is some kind of validity to that. And also talking about the RAM, it seems like Nintendo could go with either 8GB, 12, or 16, and I mean later in the video we're going to see that they're really talking a lot about RAM, and it seems like developers are really just going to want more RAM, so I am very much hoping that Nintendo does go kind of crazy with this and go for the entire 16 gigabytes of RAM, because I think right now the Switch has like, I think 4 or 2 gigabytes. I think it might be 4. So it's a very low amount of RAM. So going from 4 to 16 would be like 4 times better than what we currently have, and that would be great. But even if they can't choose that, I think 12 gigabytes would be good too. That's still a 3 times upgrade. I just don't think that they should do 8, but even that I guess still is an improvement. But RAM really seems to be kind of the big thing that developers are looking for, and I feel like with more RAM you can definitely do a lot more stuff. So I am hoping that Nintendo does decide to prioritize that and we do get a high amount of RAM with the Nintendo Switch 2. And then the second thing that it just says right here is, to be honest, the Switch 2 isn't really on my radar anymore. Right now, I am focused on finishing up validation for Blackwell. Switch 2 silicon has been done since late 2022. As far as I'm aware, that Digital Foundry article looking at the T239 processor leaked from when we were hacked is almost an entirely correct summary of what's true about the silicon in the Switch 2. We presented several options to Nintendo, including one that utilized Lovelace, and they basically selected a cost-optimized version of Orin. It has some efficiency tweaks from Lovelace and a few other goodies added as well. Oh, and AMD bid against us hard for the Switch 2 by the way, but ended up losing the bid. So I'm guessing that last part means that maybe AMD was kind of considering like to be a part of the Switch 2, and I guess in the end Nvidia still won and Nintendo decided to partner with them again. But really here it just says here they're talking a lot about kind of like the T239 processor, which we've kind of been hearing about for years now, that's pretty much going to be the chip that Nintendo is going to use. It's a custom made chip that they're going to use for the Switch 2, and it seems like that Digital Foundry article that basically talked about it, I think they even made a video about the T239 chip, and I think they're saying here that pretty much everything that's mentioned in that video for the most part is going to be exactly what you can expect from the next system. Alright, but going into the other information that was mentioned inside of the podcast, the first thing that they said here is that the docked mode performance is actually going to be faster than you expect. But the thing is, the handheld mode is actually going to be clocked slow because of battery life, and it's going to be slower than some people might expect. So it seems like Nintendo is really going to be kind of making it where handheld mode could be very much prioritizing battery life and really just lasting a long time. But if you want like that crazy performance and good power, docked mode is actually going to be much faster than you think, and it's really going to surprise people. So maybe this upcoming generation for Nintendo, we're actually going to see like a more drastic difference going from handheld mode to going into docked mode. As I mean, right now for a lot of games, we don't really see like a huge drastic kind of night and day difference going from handheld mode into docked mode, and especially with how they're talking about how this new dock is going to have 4K upscaling capabilities and stuff, you're probably going to be going from like a 720p or maybe 900p, 1080p kind of game, and then going from that to having upscaled 4K and having better frame rates if it's going to have much better clock speeds and stuff. You're definitely going to see a big improvement going from handheld into docked mode. And so maybe this is really going to encourage people to just play in docked mode to begin with, as that's pretty much what I do, and I'm definitely going to be taking advantage of that. I'm probably just going to have it docked for the most part, and so that's really good to kind of see that. And I guess for people who play handheld, you're going to be seeing much more battery life too. So if you really want to play these types of games for like 8 to 10 hours, you're probably going to be getting that out of the next gen too. So that is pretty nice to see. They also mentioned that Nintendo probably toned down a lot of the notches for the Switch 2 in handheld mode because they wanted to be more conscious of the heat and fan noise, as they know a lot of kids are going to be playing with this tablet, and of course kids are always very clumsy and just doing crazy things. So if you're leaving the game on for a very long amount of time, or if you're having like blankets and pillows and stuff covering over it, like obviously if you don't have really good heat performance and if you don't have like good fans and stuff and all of that, then that could definitely be a problem if there isn't like good airflow and all of that. So in order to prevent all of that, Nintendo probably just tone down everything so that they don't have to really worry about that. And so that's why like there's going to be better performance in docked mode if you really care about that, and it's going to be much more prioritized with like handheld play and just more casual play if you want to have that for the handheld. And then he also mentioned inside of the podcast that it seems like Nintendo was trying to target like around 4 teraflops in docked mode, which would be ridiculous if they actually managed to do that. And it is pretty much lining up with what we've kind of heard for a while, that it's probably going to be around like PlayStation 4 Pro level in terms of docked mode, and then handheld mode is kind of going to be more like a base PlayStation 4. There was also some speculation that the Switch 2 tablet itself might not actually have a fan, and maybe it's just going to be like a heatsink or something, but then the dock itself is what's going to have like the big fan, and you put it in docked mode and then it's going to start kicking in and the fan's going to be spinning, and that's when you get like your added performance boost and all of that crazy stuff. So maybe that could be a direction that they go into, but then again, none of the leaks that we've gotten so far or any of the rumors have mentioned the dock getting a fan, so I feel like if that was like a big thing that people noticed, it would probably be more rumored and we'd kind of hear more about it. But then again, who knows? I mean, I'm sure there's still a lot of stuff about the system that we don't know. And the last thing that they ended with is really talking about how the Nintendo Switch 2 is going to be crazy because the chip that's going to be inside of it with like the SoC is actually going to be a custom chip with the T239 chip that Nintendo really spent a good amount of time with Nvidia actually developing and making for the Nintendo Switch, for Nintendo games, and for gaming. That's what it's going to be used for, and it's because of that that a lot of developers are going to be able to do much better things with this, as compared to the current Nintendo Switch that we all have right now, that is using the Nvidia Tegra X1 chip, which was never made for Nintendo. That was actually used for the Nvidia Shield, which was like Nvidia's own like tablet like thing that they introduced like way back in like 2014 or 2015, and then Nintendo came along and said like, hey, we're making this new Switch console and we want to use your chip for it, can we do that? And they kind of tweaked it a little bit, but they basically just took the exact same chip and put it inside of that, and so that's what they've been using for like the last like 7 years inside of the Nintendo Switch. And so now actually having a chip that they made for Nintendo to use for Nintendo games, like I can't even imagine what they're going to be able to do with a chip that's made kind of basically in-house with Nintendo and Nvidia. So it's going to be a treat when we really see the stuff running on this system. But yeah, there you go guys, that is pretty much all of the updated information that we have right now about the Nintendo Switch 2 and Nintendo's next gen system. If you guys enjoyed the video, definitely be sure to click that like button and also subscribe to the channel, as well as I'm definitely going to have some more videos talking about the Nintendo Switch 2 as the information comes out. Comment down below and let me know what you guys think about all of this. Would you be okay if the handheld mode is definitely going to be toned down a lot to have more better battery life and stuff, and then having the docked mode really have like that crazy performance that can do a lot of amazing stuff? And would you be okay with having kind of 4 teraflops in docked mode and some of the other information that we have right here? Definitely be sure to comment down below and let me know. But if you don't have anything to say about this, just comment your favorite emoji down below for some engagement. I would really appreciate it. Go follow me on Twitter at @Aero so you can be featured in videos, and also join my Discord server as well. We've got a bunch of people in there who are always talking about Pokemon and Smash Bros and Nintendo, so definitely be sure to join that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching.